All right. Today's session, would anyone be interested in sharing their case studies? Anyone? If no one is sharing, then probably be a short session, but that's all right. So this could probably be the last class for us. Because in the end, week 13 and 14 is reserved for presentations of case studies. If there are no presentations, then we could just meet and then you could just have questions and we could adjourn. Amira, are all your group mates here already?
I guess so, Doctor.
All right. So we can start, I suppose. Well, let's hear it from your group.
Ji Yutong is here.
Yes.
Lee Jingyu is here.
Yes. Liu Meng. Sometimes people could be using different names. Anyway, it's good to see people's faces.
Hello, hello. Can anyone hear me?
So Amira, are you going to start or should we wait for Liu Meng?
Hello, hello.
Liu Meng, are you here?
Yeah, Doctor, I think I hear is a Liu Meng's
Right,
voice
okay then.
on the screen.
Okay, Doctor, I will start now.
Yes, please.
I just record my voice and put in the slide.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello, hello. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, Liu Meng, I
Yes,
can hear
okay.
you.
Oh, thank you.
I start now, Doctor.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
So we're going to hear a recording. There's no sound coming through. Is that?
Sorry, Doctor.
There's no sound coming through. Have you started?
Yes. No sound, Doctor?
No sound?
No. No. Cannot hear
Yeah, I
anything.
can't hear anything also. Sorry.
Mira, you click the button on the left one.
Ni. The left one.
The left before you starting the slide. The Zoom asking you about to open up the sounds button.
Okay. Mana Paman?
Sebelum share screen, before you sharing the screen.
Okay. Kita tutup dulu.
Okay.
Kalau
Klik
Lokman expert ni
share screen. Oh, tak ada Prof. Saya dah hari tu kena juga Prof.
Oh, ya,
Terkena. Okay.
It's good way to
Okay,
learn,
Share
right?
screen.
Okay, sekarang button share screen.
Okay, tekan button share screen. Before that, sebelah kiri tu ada 2 button kecil untuk video dengan audio.
Share computer sound.
Yes. Ada 2 button kecil je bawah tu, belah kiri.
Okay, ni. Okay, sekejap Doktor.
Dah jumpa dah?
I take your time.
Sekejap Sorry. Alah, hai. Dah ready dah ni je. Sorry.
Never mind. We learn together.
Kena ada Bangman jugalah. Bangman hebat lah.
New norm. Challenge for us.
Bangman memang terror lah Bangman.
Payung Pak.
Okay. Okay.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good evening to Doctor and everyone.
Can you all hear?
Yes, we can hear now.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Baman. Nasi lemak sebungkus, okay?
Thank you, Maman.
Okay, we are from group 11, consists of Li Jinglu, Liu Ming, Ji Yutong and myself Amira will present the topic about developing OD program, OD interventions and OD evaluation. According to Brown and Harvey in 2006, the OD stages consist of 5 stages. Stage 1 is anticipate needs for change. Stage 2 develop the practitioner-client relationship. Stage 3, the diagnostic phase. Stage 4, action plans, strategies and technique. And stage 5 is self-renewal, monitor and stabilize. These stages will help the organization to continuous improvement. OD programs are based upon a systematic analysis of problems and top management actively committed to the change effort. The purpose of OD programs is to increase organizational effectiveness by the application of OD values and techniques. Many OD programs use the action research model that involve collecting information about the organization, feeding this information back to the client system and developing and implementing action program to improve system performance. When we talk about OD, it is all about change. Change is making things differently. Planned change is change activities that are intentional and goal-oriented. Planned change is also resulting from a deliberate decision to alter the organization. Why we need change? There are many factors such as economic shock, competition, social trends, world politics, nature of workforce, and technology. How to plan change? First of all, we need to set goals. Goals that can be measured, follow up, ambition, work, schedule, success, action, realistic, and make a plan. We also need clear action plan, such as when, what, who, why, and where. We also need to determine plan change options, such as structural change, technology change, physical setting change, or people change. When we talk about change, there's also will have resistance. So we need to anticipate resistance among employees. Management need to persuade employees to follow together to make a change. Without employees support, there's no change can be made. There's also planned employee engagement through motivation, trust, commitment, and loyalty. According to article that Dr. shared with us last week, there are 9 major techniques of OD as shown on the screen. Number 1, survey feedback. Information is collected through survey method. Then the data will be analyzed to find out the problem, evaluate result, and find out solution. Number 2, team building. This method is designed to make improvement in the ability of employees and motivating them to work together so that it will help to improve organizational effectiveness. Number 3, sensitivity training. Under this technique, the employee in the group are asked to interact. The aim of this technique is to help people to understand each other, feel free, and become fearless. Number 4 is managerial grip. The concept is to identify two major dimensions of management behavior, which is people-oriented and production-oriented behaviors. Number 5 is management by objective, MBO. These techniques are designed to increase the precision of planning process and reduce gap between employee and organization goal. Number 6 is brainstorming. A group of 5 to 8 managers come together to find a solution to a problem. Number 7, process consultation. Process consultation is more to task-oriented. The consultant provide trainee feedback, guidance, or advice as to how the participant can solve their problem. Number 8 is quality circles. A group of 5 to 12 people come together to discuss about the problem and suggest solution to management for implementation. Number 9, transactional analysis. This analysis will help people to understand each other better. It also used in process consultation and team building. Now, I will pass presentation to my colleague Ji Yu Tong, who will explain about OD intervention. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ji Yutong. I will introduce for organizational interventions. Organizational development intervention, deliberately planned organizational-wide effort to increase an organization's effective or efficiency. ODI can also be defined as a range of planned activities that organization and the OD practitioner design and execute together in the course of organizational development program for the purpose of improvement. A planned change process managed from the top, taking into account both the technique and the human size of the organizational. Intervention refer to an array of planned activities participated by both the presentational and planned or OD interventions aimed at changing specific aspects of the organization, climate, member structure, or procedures. And in Lemon team, OD interventions refer to something that consultant does to the client system. 4 types of OD intervention. First one, human process, helping the members of the organization to enhance themselves and the way they work together. It helps to change contradicting cultures.
Is there a technical problem?
Not sure, doctor, because I also suddenly didn't hear any voice.
Yeah.
I was wondering, is it because due to my PC problem or
No,
how?
I think we may have lost the sound, the audio.
Doctor, can we go to next presenter first? Then we come back to Jutong.
Sharing.
Doctor,
Excuse me, she said
Yeah.
she didn't have internet.
Oh, don't have
maybe-
internet.
can we
Okay.
go?
You
go
lost
to next
internet connection. Okay.
Okay.
So can you do this manually then?
Next presenter is Li Jing Yu and Liu Ming about OD evaluation.
We're going to skip that.
Can we go to OD evaluation
Okay.
dulu first?
All right. So we'll get back to that later.
All right. Next slide. Thank you. Hello everyone, I'm Li Jinlu. In this part, my friend and I will introduce the content of OD evaluations, which include two stages of OD evaluation. Thank you very much for the research design. Organizational development evaluation refers to the evaluation of the final effects of organizational development measures and efforts. Organizational development evaluation factors that measure organizational development might include productivity, absenteeism, employee turnover, accident rates, and cost. Improvements in this area might mean that organizational development has achieved desired results. The purpose of evaluation is providing feedback to practitioners and the organization members about the progress and the impact on intervention. One is organization needs further diagnosis and the notification of the change program. The other is organization need to know whether the organizational intervention is successful. And then I will talk about the two stages of organizational development evaluation. Most of the discussion and the applications of OD evaluation imply that evaluation is something done after intervention. It's typically argued that once the intervention is implemented, it should be evaluated to discover whether this intended effects. Evaluation aimed at guiding implementation may be called implementation feedback. And assessment intended to discover intervention outcomes may be called evaluation feedback. Next slide. Next slide. Oh, thank you. Previous, yeah. Implementation feedback provides information on this process by explaining data about the different features of the intervention itself, and data about immediate effects of the intervention. This data collected rapidly and at short intervals provides several snapshots about how the intervention is progressing. Organization members can use this information. First, to gain a clear understanding of previous. Yes. To gain a clear understanding of, no, it's a previous slide. Oh, yes. Yes. Of first, to gain a clear understanding of the intervention, its kind of behaviors and procedures required to implement it, and second, plan for the next implementation steps. Its feedback cycle might proceed for several rounds. With each round providing members with knowledge about the intervention and ideas about the next stage of implementation. Next slide. Hello. Next slide. Okay. Once the implementation feedback informs the members of the organization that the intervention is adequate, the evaluation feedback will begin. Contrary to the implementation feedback, it focuses on the overall impact of the intervention and whether it should continue to allocate resources or other possible interventions. Evaluation feedback takes longer to gather and interpret than does implementation feedback. It typically includes a broad array of outcome measures, such as performance, job satisfaction, absence, and turnover. Negative results on these measures tell members either that the initial diagnosis was seriously flawed or that tile-run intervention was chosen. Such feedback might prompt additional diagnosis and search for a more effective intervention. Positive results, on the other hand, tell members that the intervention produced expected outcomes and might prompt a search for ways to institutionalize the changes, making them a permanent part of the organization's normal function. Thank you. Next person.
Hello, everyone. Let me continue to introduce the 5 types of the organization development evaluation. The first one is formative evaluation. It is ensure that the program or program activity is feasible, appropriate, and acceptable before it's fully implemented. Is usually conducted when a new program or activity is being developed or when an exciting one is being adapted or modified. Number 2 is process implementation evaluation. It means the determines whether program's activity has been implemented as intended. Number 3 is outcome effectiveness evaluation. It means measures program effects in the touch population by assessing the progress in the outcome or outcome objective that the program is to achieve. Number 4 is economic evaluation. It means the quality of the results are being used in a program and their cost. The cost include the direct and indirect is compared to the outcomes. Number 5 is impact evaluation. It assess program effectiveness in achieving its ultimate goals. Next. What is the measurement is the effective evaluation. It means attitude, outcomes change to work-related behaviors. The definite of the measurements is operational definition. It means the specific empirical data needs, and it provides practice guidelines what characters of the situation are to be observed and used. And it's the reliable, the response to value or variable, and how a security operational definition translate data to information. And it can be improved by multiple methods, multiple items to measure and standardize instrument. And its validity, it means measure actually reflects the variable is intended to reflect. And organization development practitioners heavy use of the content validity process and measures that already have been validated. And measuring both intervention and outcome variables is based on outcome measures are ambiguous without knowledge and how well the intervention implemented, and help to determine the correct interpretation of outcomes measures. And selection of the intervention variables should derive from the conceptual frameworks underlying organization development intervention. Next. Thank you. At the end, let me introduce the research design about how to design the evaluation to achieve wide result. It can be divided into the 3 parts. The first part is internal validity. Is the key issue is how to design the assessment to show whether the intervention produce observed result. It means the testing hypothesis. The second part is external validity. It means whether intervention will work similarly in other situations. The longer the time period of the change program, the greater the chance that other factors, such as technology improvement, will emerge to affect the results. The last part is quiz the experimental. It allows evaluator to rule out many rival explanations for the organizational development result other than intervention itself. It has 3 features powerful assessing changes. Number 1 is the longitudinal measurements. It means the result repeatedly over the long time. Number 2 is compassion unit. It means compare result intervention situation with those in other situation where no change. Number 3 is statistical analysis. It should be used to rule out the possibility results caused by random error or chance. Thank you.
Hello everybody. I suddenly lose my internet connect, so I just fixed it.
I think continue on the next
I
problem.
just continue to 4 types of OD intervention.
All right, from this slide.
Oh yes, this tip. 4 types of OD intervention. First is human process, helping the members of the organization to enhance themselves and the way they work together. It helps to change contradicting cultures and conflict within the organization. The second is techno structure, improving the overall performance of the organization by changing the procedures, technologies, operation structure, and rules. The next is human resource management, improving the organizational performance by improving the performance of individuals and groups within organization. The last is strategic, aim to change many aspects like employers, technology, product, and so on by focusing on organization interaction with the external environment. Next page, please. This is for those 4 types of intervention. We have some examples. For human process intervention, we have individual and group B-sides. For individual, such as coaching, counseling, delegating, leading, morale boosting, mentoring, motivating. For group based, such as conflict management, dialogue, group facilitation, group learning, self-directed work, team building, virtual team. Next page. For techno-structural intervention, we have consulting and outsourcing, organizing tasks, jobs, and rules, organizing staff, business process, registered ISO 9000, total quality management. Next page. For human resource management interventions, employer performance management, establishing performing goal, observation and feedback, evaluating performance, rewarding performance, recognizing performance problem, performance or development plan, staffing, firing employers, employer development, career development, leadership, development planning, management, development program, personal development, personal productive, personal wellness, supercellular development planning, training and development, employer wellness program, diversity management, Jugos in Workplace Employer Acceptance Program, Serve in Workplace, Spirituality in Workplace. Next page. Strategic interventions. First, specific interventions that is used depends upon the nature of target systems with a possibility of interventions available within the OD program. Intervention technique may be transferred in teams of the TAGE systems. Interventions may focus on the level in the organizational ranging from the individual, team, and inter-team levels to the total organizational systems. The OD consultants must determine not only the lapse of the designed intervention, but must also the relative advantage and the disadvantage of various possible interventions process to enhance team function and performance. Next page. Step in OD interventions. First step is entry. Requirement for changing within a company becomes apparent when an issue is identified. The next step, startup change agent gets into the organizational environment. The three-step assessment and feedback. Change agent collects information about the situation. 4 steps, change agent or OD presentational works join with management and other stakeholders to formulate a step-by-step corrective action plan. 5-step intervention. Change agent helps in implement the intervention and the change process in carried out. 6-step evaluation. Change agent assist the management and other stakeholders to evaluate the change effort progress. 7-step adaptation. Members of the company acknowledge ownership of the change. 8-step separation. Change agent propose to leave the organization by transferring necessary knowledge and skills. Finish.
Thank you, Doctor.
Done? All right.
That's all for our group.
Good. Okay. Let's hear if there's any thoughts from anyone else in the group. Any questions?
Assalamualaikum, Prof.
Yes.
I'm not commenting on this particular presentation because it's very good, but I want to share my thought. I think you also be in the same same zaman at that time. Let's say about the transportation, public transportation in Kuala Lumpur itself. Before during my young time, I have to wake up early in the morning to catch a bus mini nombor 14 at the time. So as time goes by, then they change to intra-kota. Intra-kota, and then when got maybe they put some effort to do the OD interventions, and then whereby Khazanah National take through Prasarana is established to taking care of the public transport in Kuala Lumpur. So at the time after that, we see slowly they started from Intra-Kota, they changed it to Rapid KL. After that, they're taking over the Putra LRT. And then the other one is I think got two LRT. One we call it Putra, and the other one, the yellow color one, the Ampang line. I think Ampang, the Kelana Jaya line is a Putra LRT. The Ampang line is I forgot the name. And then now they're taking over the MRT also. When we try to link up with the 5 types of OD evaluation, is a very good, because first before this one, based on the evaluation feedback from the user, like us or the users, and then go through to the implementation, and then they form up something that good to the we call local people as the resident KL resident, and some will give a good image to Kuala Lumpur for tourism, whereby we got integrated public transport. So this one, I think if we see about the effective measurement, they completed the 3 stages: the define, the reliable, and validity of the services itself. That's all, bro.
Yes. That may be looking at the whole organization-wide intervention, in the sense that how they have in terms of consolidated and also merge the transportation system so that it becomes much more effective. As you know, public transportation usually it's not profitable, right? People who run public transportation usually get paid by the cities, and yeah, they may make some profit, but if on their own they would not, just like MAS or any other transport services, I suppose. Yes, true. Any other thoughts? We've gone through, in fact, in most of the presentations, it's good to see that groups have recapitulated on what OD is all about. I think by now, everyone is quite conversant about what is OD. Number one is organization-wide, system-wide, right? I think that much we have established, that any OD exercise will affect the organization throughout. Even if you were to just carry out an intervention within one unit of the organization, then we can expect that intervention to have an impact throughout the organization. And that is why we say that it is an organization-wide, or rather system-wide intervention, right? No matter where you intervene, you can expect that it will affect other parts of the organization, right? And number two, what we have established is that organization development is deliberate. It is planned, right? Because what we need to do is that we may have problems that we need to address, or we may need to prepare for the future. And as such, a plan is necessary in which you will implement the plan, right? And the implementation of the plan is usually what the intervention is all about. And number three, if you notice that most of the interventions have implications on humans, right? In fact, most interventions are human-oriented. And this is true because OD in itself is behavioral science. And when we talk about behavioral science, it's about people. Why is it about people? Well, primarily because in any activity, in any interventions or in any processes of the organization, you have to depend on someone. And people are behind all types of intervention, right? For example, you may want to just computerize, and computerization is primarily a technological innovation. But then who is going to be affected and who is going to actually operate the computers? It has to fall back on human beings. So in any intervention, restructuring organization, goals, and so on, it in the end boils down to a human aspect of intervention, right? I think we, in a way, I don't know whether we are, well, in a way, we are unfortunate to have the COVID-19 pandemic upon us. But at the same time, we may be fortunate because we are seeing and experiencing by our own self what happens in a pandemic. I think not many people would have had the chance. The last one was the Spanish flu way back in the early, I think early 20th century. And I think right now we are also experiencing another pandemic, which is the COVID-19. And the COVID-19, like it or not, has forced us to change, right? Most of us did not anticipate what is going to happen, or even, I suppose, most organizations did not anticipate the extent of COVID-19 and its impact, not only on the economy, but in all facets of human life, in the environment, right? Particularly, the economy will be going to be badly hit simply because people cannot go to work. And then in terms of technology, we have to depend on technology to do work in the future, right? It's not going to be going up easily. It will be staying with us for quite a long time. And we need to practice all the social distancing, masking, and so what was that? The sanitizing, right? Until I suppose there comes a time when either there is a vaccine for it, or we have developed what we call a herd immunity towards the disease. But I don't see it that soon. It will come, but until then, we still have to deal with it. And you can see the effect throughout, right? Restaurants are being affected, outlets are being affected, businesses affected. And we need, especially in education also, we have experienced that we cannot go into classes like we did before. Everything has changed, right? We have to use technology in which it is virtual learning. And I think a lot of people are also, a lot of people are going to capitalize that learning online, virtual learning, and any form of training will now be in a way constructed in such a way that it can be delivered online. Now there's big business there, right? Not only in formal education, but if we are looking at in all aspects of learning, even non-formal education like training for organizations, it will be done in terms of snippets where you actually can access, just like you have accessed YouTube to learn about different things, right? Most students right now, if they want to use the SPSS software, they just go to YouTube and very much learn how to use SPSS or how to do an analysis, SPSS analysis, statistical analysis, just through the YouTube. But if we can imagine in the future, most of us training also, it will not be held like it used to be. Maybe there's a small group, but most learning will be available online, right? Such that you probably need to pay for that, but that's how it's going to be. And not only in terms of learning, but also services, right? They will be online, they will be outsourced. We have discussed that last week, but this is what is going to be. And OD is going to be looking at new ways of making the organization, of getting the organization to function much more effectively, much more efficiently from a virtual perspective. And we are going to be able to observe all this in our lifetime. Well, probably won't be too long for me, but I think for you who are still going to go into the workshop, who are still young, I think you will have to you will have to deal with it, because this is what work and life is going to be for now. All right. Any other thoughts? Or the other thing that is just as important is the evaluation part of it. Why do we need to evaluate? Because you cannot get away from evaluation in any OD exercise, right? Of course, the first thing that you do is to be able to diagnose the problem, to determine what needs to be done. And then the second part of it is to have the interventions planned and implemented. And while you're implementing the interventions, there must be some sort of monitoring. And this is when evaluation comes in, right? Monitoring is a form of evaluation, primarily because you need to know whatever you are doing is actually delivering the results as you have expected. In the end, what you need to do is to determine whether you have achieved the objectives that you have set out, to see whether the change in itself is going to bring the positive results. Because remember, in any OD exercise, change must be positive. But along with that also, you need to determine if there are any side effects that need to be addressed, because in any change process, there will be side effects, right? And so this is what evaluation does. Number one, it provides a monitoring capacity. It provides a monitoring process in which you are going to give feedback to the organization so that the organization knows where it stands in terms of its change process, right? And in the end, you need to determine whether the goals of the change itself has been achieved. And that is where that summative type of evaluation comes in, where you actually make the final report to say, yes, this is the impact of the change process. And this is what we have achieved as a result of our change process. Any other thoughts? Amira and group, thank you for your presentation. It's good. We have the slides with us for our reference.
Thank you very much, Prof.
Yes. For next week, what do we want to do? Are we going to have a class, or are we just going to communicate through our WhatsApp? Do we need another Zoom meeting for next week? Although there will be no more presentations, we can have a discussion if you need to. But I don't think there's much to discuss anyway. We probably don't need to have a specified meeting time. We can just continue to discuss on our WhatsApp group. One other important thing that I need to finalize is, when are we going to have our exam?
And
Just
how,
like everything else, assessment, evaluation is going to be
how to do it?
important, because it will tell us whether we have achieved our objectives.
Doctor, how much will be the final exam mark? Is it
Final
still
exams, I think it's just going to be 40%, if I'm not mistaken. So
How much?
20% for the first assignment, 20% for the second assignment, and 30% for your case study. Right? So that makes up 60%.
30% for final, Doctor.
Huh?
30% for final.
20%?
30.
20. 30.
30.
Okay. So we have decided just 30%. So that's in the outline, right? I have to
According to the outline.
I have to
In the
go back.
outline, Doctor.
Okay. So 30%.
10% bonus marks
So
for
how-
participation, doctor.
Doctor, how we will go to final?
I know. I think. I will have to do it on Putra Blast. I think. So the exam will be presented on Putra Blast, and you can answer within specified time.
Is the final final exam time?
Yeah.
We determine
We
normal
probably
class
have to
time.
make- Yeah, we probably have to determine a specified time so that everybody can do it at the same time. Just like what we would have done if we were on campus.
Okay.
I still need to plan
Doctor,
out.
maybe-
I need to figure it out.
Doctor, maybe I would suggest maybe our exam time will be on week 14 class time. Is it okay?
No, it has to be during the exam week.
Marita, bukan
Oh,
boleh
okay.
don't forget
Okay,
to do
doctor.
tau sampai ruang pula
Apa?
Hah?
Don't forget what?
Nilai A.
Huh?
Dah buat? Oh, nilai A.
So it has to be during the exam week. We have to relook at the schedule. I think we have the schedule last week, right? Anyway, we'll discuss that in our WhatsApp group. So please participate in the discussion so that we can come to a agreement.
Doctor, if I'm not mistaken, according to the academic calendar, our exam week will start from 27th of July.
27th of July, right? So think about it. So we'll choose a date and a time for it. Okay?
Okay, doctor.
We'll work that out somehow. So don't get too stressed out.
Very stressful, doctor, because
I know, I
during that
know.
time
But
near
don't
to
get
Raya
too
Haji.
stressed out. Just
Yes, Doctor.
Near
deal
to
with
Raya
it.
Haji, doctor.
Yeah.
So many things. So many things to be prepared.
Don't worry, you'll be fine.
Any tips for the exam?
Just go through one good thing that I always give is that go through the book. Right? Brown and
Doctor,
Harvard.
boleh buat substitute tak?
Substitute, yes, I have given you the option.
Dalam outline tu je.
Yes, that is available.
Apa ni? Tak faham.
You have,
To the final exam.
you have an option to the final exam.
Okay.
So
What kind
that
of
is
option?
the outline.
Refer to the outline.
I think it's
Yen.
the synthesis paper. If let's say Yen would like to replace with exam, there will be a synthesis paper, I guess, if not mistaken.
Yes, you're not mistaken. You're right.
Okay, thank you, doctor.
Okay. Can somebody share in the group later after this, please?
The synthesis paper has to be publishable in a sense if you want to score.
Publishable, Doctor.
Oh yes, if you want to score.
Alamak. Doctor, for the final exam. Doctor, for the final exam, will it cover every topic or
yes, the whole
some of the topics?
The whole book.
Topic.
The whole book.
Okay. Kena rebus nota sampai dari sekarang.
Yeah.
Doctor, one last question for me. This is regarding the third assignment.
Okay.
Would it be possible if you can share, I mean, throughout your teaching for this subject, maybe you can share one best example of assignment 3 that you want us to benchmark, because until now, there is not.
There are quite a lot of good assignments in the class, right? Okay. So what people, I know this it is going to be much more challenging this time around because going to visit people is not that easy. But in the past, what people have done is that they have actually got they get real data from organizations where they visit and engage an informant, right? So the informant would talk about primarily, for example, what they have done in terms of organization development, and they would tell the story of the process of organization development for that organization. And of course, in the end, we want to look at what are the outcomes of that OD process, what changes have been achieved. So some of the examples that I have used, for example, even those for Ayam Mas, for example, and the one that MPC did for the land office, that actually came out from assignments.
Okay. Would it be possible for you to share one of them, at least for us to, benchmark it? Because here's the thing, Prof.
To tell you the truth, because they were not submitted in soft copy. They were all submitted hard copies.
Alamak.
So I can't retrieve them already.
Okay. Here's the thing, Doctor. Because I have identified one or two couple of organizations.
Good.
The first one would be CIDB.
CIDB would be
Construction Industrial Development Board.
All right.
Okay. So regarding the data, I've not received official data, but only managed to spoke with the manager of HR.
Okay.
Which turned out to be my old friend.
All right.
He only can share unofficially, but he cannot share.
The assignment is not going to be distributed. It's not going to be published. It's not going to be. That's why when you ask me for any examples, I am quite reluctant to share with you, because those assignments, unless it is agreed or permitted by the organization, I can share. But generally, no. Right? So the data will remain private and confidential.
Yes. Would you ask for approval? Not approval, but would you refer to the actual data?
Yeah, what you need to do is actually quote where you got the data. Just reference it.
Just a quotation, but the quotation not from
in
the
APA
actual
format. There is a way, right, where you actually say conversation with who and who. So that is actually the reference that we're going to hold.
But unfortunately, the friend of mine would not. prefer for his name to be.
You don't have to give the names, right? Conversation.
Can I just put the data? A source of the data is from internal report from the HR. Is that good enough?
In fact, they have internal reports, right?
So would it be acceptable by you?
Yes. You can send it to me, and then I'll have a look at it, and then I can give you advice. Usually usually all this is addressed at the final week 13 and week 14 where the groups present the assignment. But because we are not going to have that, so you will not get the benefit of the feedback.
Okay. Actually, I'm planning to choose CIDB, and I think we are about to go back for a group assignment instead of individual.
Okay.
But to be decided in short time this week. Okay. Since everybody can move around a little bit now.
Yes. Keep me updated on what you are doing and what problems that you and we can discuss that.
We are doing a CIDB care line, doctor. If I can share today. Our idea is to do on CIDB care line, their customer service sectors, which manages few channels of customer services, such as telephone operators. The most is from the telephone operators. And then their e-bantuan system, and also they call it Convene system. Convene system is specialized system created just for the contractors to refer the market price and whatnot for the construction items. So this group of people is fall under CIDB care line. So we are planning to do that on them.
All right.
But
you
not
will be describing what their problems are and what they need, what kind of changes they need, and why those changes are necessary, right?
Yes, because according to my friend, he was posted in that customer service unit before this. So the problem that they faced a few years ago is through telephone complaint, telephone conversation. They are not able to channel out their phone calls to other ministries, to specific officers and whatnot. Because they are so-called call center for industrial construction, industrial.
Okay.
But it is not only for CIDB. The customers comes from contractor companies and whatnot, asking them complicated things that related not only to CIDB but to other ministries and related agencies as well.
Okay.
So it resulted to a bit high in complaint for telephone management.
Yes.
I mean complaint management, and also especially on panggilan tidak berjawab. They call it PTB, panggilan tidak berjawab, unanswered call. Not answering the call, but the time they managing the telephone conversation is the problem.
Okay.
So we are trying to
sounds
address
like a good assignment. You have all the requirements of looking into the problems and also addressing the problems.
Yes, the limitation that we have now, doctor, since this friend of mine only able to share his personal views about the data, he cannot share officially. So I cannot quote this is from annual report, internal this division or that division. Just I can quote from the telephone conversation or brief discussion or meetings and whatnot.
Right,
is that enough?
But at the same time, if you can, are there any other documents that could be publicly available?
Yes. There is an annual report, but the latest version would be 2018.
All right, you can glean or at least get as much as possible, much information as possible from the annual report, and see if we can compile that together and make sense out of that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Got it.
I think you have something there. And if you need to, you can always discuss with me. You can PM me.
Okay, boss. We will PM you.
Good. Excellent. Anyone else looking into projects that you might want to just discuss with me, with us over here? So that is an example of a case study, right? Looking into the call online, the calls to CIDB and what they need to do to resolve issues that they have faced. Good.
Yang tersirat di hati dah tersurat di bibir Encik In.
Okay.
Prof.
Any others?
Prof.
Yes, Faiza.
Maksudnya it is not compulsory for us to have an interview session with the company, kan?
Have a what?
It is not compulsory for us to have an interview session with the company, kan?
I think because of the difficulty this time around, I'm allowing a lot of leeway in terms of the, but as much as possible, you see, your data and your information will be much more valid if you have someone that you are talking to at that company. So if you don't have, you may use secondary sources of data.
Okay.
So as much as possible, try to get clarification on your information. Right? Talk to someone if possible.
Okay, thank you, Prof.
But I'm giving a lot of leeway considering the CMO.
All right.
Any others? You're doing okay? With all the other classes going on, all right? Well,
yes. So far, so good, Doctor.
Not so.
In good progress.
It's a new way of learning. I suppose you can actually record and write about it. Your own experience about learning online, learning during CMO.
Yeah, might be the history for the future generation.
Yeah, just like people wanted to know about how it was during the Spanish flu.
Yeah.
I think we are much more lucky in the sense that we have better technology to help us along with what we need.
Yes, and this is also first time we implement this MCO.
Yeah, this big. In December, January, I couldn't imagine that it would come to this extent, but it did.
Yeah, because I read from the report, it says that government also has the courage to implement this MCO. It's a great decision, not an easy decision.
Oh yeah,
actually.
so I can imagine how difficult it was, because you always have to balance the economic needs as well as the safety and security health needs. So that's the interesting part of it. Yeah, look at Brazil, look at US, for example, and even look at some of the Scandinavian countries, Sweden, for example, right? So if you look at all this, each of them would have a different way of approaching the control of the disease. And you see, there's so much, I think, from that perspective, there's so many things that we can learn from what we need to do, from what we need to implement in order to bring things under control. Right, good. So if nothing else, thank you very much. It was a wonderful session. So next week, do we need to meet? If we need to, just let me know over the WhatsApp group, and then we can come to a decision. Okay. So till then,
Thank you, Prof.
have a good week.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Prof. We will contact you. We
Thank you,
will make
Doctor.
our
Thank
own
you.
Zoom meeting with you.
Balik kampung, balik kampung already, I suppose.
Dah balik dah.
Dah balik lah.
Tak boleh tahan.
Azrael, are you back? Are you still in the kampung? You're back.
I'm back already, bro.
Okay, good.
Yang tak balik tu balik lah. Kesian kat
Kesian kan orang tua kat rumah.
Cap, balik Cap. Paman, balik Paman.
Balik kampung.
Nak balik ni, lepas kalian nak balik ni.
Nah, Pak Izzah yang duduk kat kampung dah tu tak payah cerita banyak lah. Geng-geng Melaka yang duduk kat kampung tu tak payah cerita banyak.
Tak balik lagi kampung kau.
Oh, siap.
Dia balik cari durian.
Melaka tengah promosi banyak ni. Hotel tourism. Share-share lah info sikit geng-geng Melaka.
Orang Melaka pun tak berani pergi. Tak payah datang lah, jam ke. Orang Melaka
tak bagi kita datang.
Orang Melaka pun tak keluar lah. Melaka duduk kat rumah aja ni.
This weekend will be the best time because next week gaji dah keluar. So next week akan ramai. This week should be okay.
From China, are you okay? I know because quite a number of students have even gone back. My final year students, they are going to be presenting their project paper from China, from home.
Wow.
So again, you see, these are the interesting things that are happening.
Ni new normal ni.
New normal. We don't have to be on campus.
New normal Daman Huri ni.
All right then, if nothing else, going to be Maghrib soon.
Okay.
All right, take care.
Everyone.
Bye,
everyone.
Thank you, Doctor. Bye.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Assalamualaikum. Kan muka tak nampak.